Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled to death that you are listening to our show. It is a hot one in here today.
Yes, it is.
Oh, my
It's
goodness.
nice.
We're trying to save John a few bucks on the air conditioning.
Yep.
My goodness.
I think it's very comfortable.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. That's how we should look at things.
Yes.
It could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
We've got a very special guest in the studio who has already revealed his vocal.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Who is it? Yeah, everybody's going to know. I recognize
who are you?
that little voice. I'm Hex from Cleveland, Ohio, and I play guitar for Whiskey Daredevils and 45 Spider.
Okay.
Nice.
Is it because of the shape of this that you're avoiding it so much? Or
I don't. It's just.
It's a little intimidating.
I know. It's just kind of like, am I gonna make out with this thing or what?
You can just give it a little pushback so that
There we
you're-
go.
Yeah, just give it a little touch. A
Yeah.
touch too much.
There we go. That's perfect.
Perfect.
There.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Do not ask Hex to sing for you because he will not
Nope.
go for the mic.
He has a lovely singing voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
I believe it.
No, there's a little story about how I found out I cannot sing in public.
Tell us a story.
Okay.
Oh yeah, one of my first bands, we were playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, and the sound guy for some reason screwed the mics around, and the singer mic was on my mic stand, and the singer had the one that was supposed to be for me, and I went to do a backup, and to me it sounded like that was the loudest thing ever. And there were 3 girls, I remember, in front of us, and I saw all of them just make a face like, and I just completely just went like, not doing
Seized.
this anymore. And that was it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
Well, we have a couch over there. We can lay down and you can just tell me all the problems and I
tell
will.
me more about
I
your
think that's the
childhood.
only thing I have PTSD about. Just
Okay.
that.
We can work through that.
Yeah.
And soon you'll be fronting a band.
With 5 sessions at $9.99 a pop.
That's right.
Okay. Well, as mentioned, Hex is in the shop tonight. He was featured on our Vox 101 show the
Yes,
other
sir.
night because he's a Vox fiend, as is Tony. So
Yes.
Very
they're
much
palsies.
so.
And but aside from that, he's one of our Grand Poohbah supporters, and we could not thank him enough for it.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yes, thank you.
the first time I heard the podcast, I'm like, you know what? This is pretty cool, especially local. You know, Ohio guys, you got to support that. And you guys actually do a good job when it comes to this.
You really had to figure out how you were going to say
describing.
that.
Yeah, well, the thing too is that I know my wife is gonna hear it and she's gonna go, "Oh, that's Todd. Every time Todd calls, it costs money."
That's true.
But
Shout out to Shannon.
yeah, but you know what? It's like, how else are you gonna, unless you're like enslaved to YouTube, watching every single thing?
We're on YouTube. You can just listen.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, just especially when you're like, you know, like trying to get ideas and want to get what's new and what's out. This is one of the best places to actually get that kind of information.
I appreciate
Thanks.
that. So does Tony. He's
I do.
appreciating it right
I'm
now
enjoying
with
it.
a
With a
with
little-
a little bit of
Boybin.
yeah. Well, we're gonna get all into your story. You are a fabulous guitar player.
Thank you.
I
And
second that.
We've already shared how we met and everything on
Yeah.
air and everything before you were even on here. So we won't be
We're
bedraggle
skipping
that.
Yeah, we're skipping that.
Yeah.
But it was actually an interesting story
Yeah.
because when I met him, he never mentioned the podcast.
Is this
He
when we're
never-
skipping it?
Oh no, because we never talked. You always talked your side of the story. You never heard mine.
Well, wait. Okay, wait. Hang on. Don't do it now. We're going to get into that.
All right.
You
cool.
know how the show goes.
Yeah,
You listen.
We'll save it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
save
actually
it. Save
like,
it.
Save it.
Ladies
But
and
don't
gentlemen,
forget
we
it.
are glad that you're listening with us. If this is one of the first times you're listening to us,
Yeah.
Tony, can you give them a tee up what we got coming?
Tee up. Maybe that could be my new segment.
Oh, tee up with Tony. Tee up, Tony.
Yeah. Doo-doo-doo-da-ba-ba-ba. No, that's from Full House.
Ding, 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 dong.
Hey, this is Tony. Welcome to Tee Up with Tony.
Yes.
And you heard why I can't sing.
Yeah.
That was nice.
True. That was awful.
Yeah, that was pretty
We'll
bad.
have to edit that. Go ahead,
So,
Tony.
we like to talk about gear.
Yes.
Plain and simple. We like to talk about amps and guitars and pedals and accessories and all the good stuff. And specifically, we like to talk to boutique builders. Mm-hmm. We talk to some big boys too.
That's right.
But we do some 101s where we learn something about a very specific
Got a
thing.
great one coming up in the future.
Marshall.
Yeah.
I heard about that one.
And then, we invite on people like Hex that support the show, and we kind of get their background
And other movers
information.
and shakers. We got some players coming up too. We got
Players.
Jack Bates.
Jack
the
Bates.
bass player
yeah.
For Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You have to twist Jeff's arm to do that, or did he
We
do
had to
that on
get,
his own?
permission
it
from
was
Jeff.
his suggestion.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's got he's got obviously an interesting story because his dad is Peter Hook.
Peter Hook,
So
Yes.
and if you don't know who that is, go look it up and you'll love the tunes. Joy Division and New Order. Anyways, so thank you for that delightful summary.
Yes.
T-Bone McGee. All right. We got a couple of announcements I want to share. Number one, I got this really nice note. Why can't I say nice note?
Nice note.
I got a nice note.
Did you solder it?
No, I soldered it. This is from a gentleman named Matt Brady. He says, "Hey, I just tuned in and listened to a few episodes. I love the podcast. It's great to hear from the builders themselves. I live outside Akron, which I heard mentioned in an episode. Which, that's always kind of cool. Wherever you're from, you get your little shout out.
If you're in France, it's Akron.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just in France. Anyways, and travel to Columbus for shows every now and again. Thanks for producing this informative and entertaining underline exclamation point in bold. Yeah, I mean, I added that. Rock on. So,
Yeah.
hey, thanks a lot, Matt Brady. We really appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
We love when people give us a holler and, just tell us what they're up to, what they think of the show. And if you want to throw rocks at Todd, you can do that too.
Yeah, rocks.
That was apparently
rocksfortodd.com.
Rocks for Todd. Throwing rocks at Todd actually was the trending subject line for the giveaway for Copper Sound.
Oh,
So thanks for all of that. And we had a fantastic giveaway with them. So we want to give a big shout out to the winner of the Copper Sound DIY giveaway that they so kindly and generously did.
Nice.
Brad Winters.
Brad Winters.
hey,
Yes.
Congratulations, Brad.
We would love for you to share out what you make with that, because he got the whole package to make a pedal and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Very exciting! Very
Nice.
exciting.
Now, does he know how to solder?
No, it's a
gonna learn.
breadboard package, so you
Oh.
don't have to solder.
You don't, but the point is to then make a pedal. But Copper Sound actually has got all kinds of videos, really easy to follow videos, and I don't mean because people are stupid, but sometimes you can get into a long one.
Or they have my attention span.
Well, yeah, it's essentially it's short attention span theater for real, and they don't go like over the head of everything. There's like this is the point, and they break down all of the little aspects of builds. It's really great. They're doing a really fantastic job of trying to connect with the consumer out there that has an interest level that is not prohibitive.
Yeah.
And I think that's fantastic. So thank you, Copper Sound, for doing that. We're also going to be giving away two pedal boarding, breadboarding DIY kits. I was trying to make sure I said that right.
No.
Yes, one is probably going to be the silicone fuzz, and the other one will probably be the overdrive. And those kits are loaded. Got the board, you got all the parts, you got a power supply. It's fantastic.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah, so that's going to be coming real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for... No, that's not all I have for announcements. You know why? Something big happened. I got an email from our friend Alex Gee from Black Star.
Yes.
That
Ooh.
is correct. And he said, hey, we've got something amazing we're about to break. let me tell you about this amazing thing.
I thought he
that
wanted
they
his
just
stuff
broke.
back. That's why he was writing it.
I
You're
did
gonna
send that back. I
You
did
sending
send
it back? No rush or anything,
Yeah.
but it's been months.
Most of it. Anyways, so without further ado, I'm going to not ad-lib here.
Okay.
Introducing the new St. James, which is the amp that they just have brought out, plug-in.
Oh,
Okay? Now, this is a cool factor because it is the most authentic guitar amp plug-in available, according to them. It's $99. You don't need an amp. If you got a computer, you can make music, period.
so you don't even
You
need
need a
any
guitar and a computer.
So you can actually load that into like your recording software, and then it's like that's it.
That's it. So let's see. Our friend Alex Gee of Black Star Amps, he's the amazing senior product developer.
Yes.
He asked us to share this out because it is a really big release for them. And you can hear his interview on episode 312, by the way. All right. This is designed in-house by the same UK R&D team responsible for all of their amps. You can get the tone and, most importantly, the feel. This is the thing that they were emphasizing, the feel of a valve amp in a digital space. That's what they've been working so hard on.
Wow.
So that's, if you're digging in, if you're hanging back.
Yeah.
The mystical harmonics that we like to, overtones and stuff that we like to hear.
That's my new band.
Mystical overtones.
Harmonics.
Should be. Mystical harmonics.
Harmonics.
I like it. It's mystical. The mystical harmonics and the magnetic blooms. They're playing in a couple
I
weeks.
love those guys.
Anyways, so the St. James amps. They've got two. One is the EL34.
Yeah.
So that's the classic tones, the British crunch, the jaw-dropping U.S. cleans. And the EL34 software delivers warmth, chime, and squash that defined the sound associated with the icons from the 60s. These channels offer perfect pedal platforms and come alive when pushed hard. The 6L6 is the high headroom cleans, the iconic crunch, modern high gain. The 6L6 software amp delivers crystal clear cleans whilst and at the same time. Channel 2 voice offers modern preamp gain with a British-style passive tone stack, and Channel 2 and Voice 2 delivers tight, articulate, modern metal sounds with our high-gain overdrive circuit. Highest gain overdrive circuits yet. This is loaded with pre-effects and post-effects and an EQ. We'll go into those in the next episode, but just know they're there, and they've spent an incredible amount of time developing this. So I would highly, highly recommend going to blackstarplugins.com, and you can actually start with a free trial.
Yeah.
If you dig it, it's $99.
Yeah, that's super cheap because
Yeah.
I bought some of the stuff from like Guitar Rig and stuff like that, and yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah. And I think the thing to point out here, often you will get, when you ever have plugins, they're sort of like from either plug-in houses or stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I really like about what Blackstar is doing is it's the same team making all the stuff. The
Yep.
same people that are
Oh,
making
that
the
is
amps
cool.
are
Yeah.
making the plugins. The same people that are making the amps are making the amped series, quote-unquote, pedals.
Yeah.
And they're the same team making the Architect software, which is the cab simulation that you can use to dial in all of your
Oh, that's
digital
really cool.
connections.
So you pretty much you have everything. It's what's the word I'm looking for?
It's all coming from the same house.
Yeah, and the thing too is that if you're actually start implementing everything they make together, is pretty much everything's gonna sound pretty much the same.
Right. So if you're recording at your desk, if you're playing at a gig, if you are practicing at your practice space, all your amp stuff is going to sound the same.
Yeah, cohesion is what I was thinking about.
That's a good word.
Everything's very cohesive.
Yeah. So I was really excited about that. I am just downloaded it, and I cannot wait to check it out. So take advantage of that. blackstarplugins.com.
I'm actually writing that down as we speak.
There you go. So is Tony. Check that out. All right, Alex, thanks so much. We appreciate you, my friend. And Black Star. All right, let's find out what we got going on in our music world this week, gentlemen. Tanya Bolonsky.
Well, I don't have a lot since I've been working on my helping the guys.
The Toothy.
The Toothy. Long in the tooth? Is that what you're saying?
The Toothy, the vision impaired, but nonetheless witty.
My vision isn't
Tanya
that bad. Here,
Bolonsky.
I'm taking my glasses off. With that note, I'm going to do the podcast without glasses.
Okay.
I wish I could do that. I can't.
Todd, I want you to stop yelling at me.
He's pointing at Hex.
It's much more effective when you have video running. But
Agreed.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, we're working on our bathroom at home, and it's a tear out and it's a mess. But other than that, it's all great. I did get some really great news. My buddy Steve. Steve, friend of the podcast. He was on our. I guess it was our
Gretsch show. Yeah,
Gretsch show. And
That's one show I got skipped out of.
So he, his wife was nice enough to get him tickets to the Roger McGuinn show, which is coming up in Newark, Ohio. And she couldn't go, so Steve said, "Hey, would you like to go see Roger McGuinn?"
All right.
Now, I've never seen Roger before.
For those who don't know who Roger McGuinn is, please enlighten us.
The principal of the Byrds.
Okay.
And also a pretty great solo career. He's done some really great stuff, and you know, I think he's in his 80s now, so it's, you know, I guess see him when you can.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I hope that it's going to be everything that I've heard live. He's still really good.
You mean he's using like a lot of synths and stuff? Sorry, I was slow on the tape.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah.
Hey, all.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
Anyways.
But no, I mean, everyone I've talked to that has seen him fairly recently says he's still got it. He's got a good, you know, voice is good, the guitar skills are good. So I'm kind of I'm excited to see that. It's coming up later this month on the 22nd.
I'm a firm believer that rock and roll keeps you young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should start playing rock and roll, Tony.
Well, you know, like hell, look at Billy. Billy's what, like 90?
Who, our Billy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at
At
him.
least.
He's still like freaking like rocking out
Yeah.
like no tomorrow.
Yeah, Rip Van Whitmire. Quite literally.
Love you, brother. You
Yeah.
are missed.
We miss you
Yeah,
tonight,
you should have
Billy.
been here.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, enough insider baseball, you yodels.
Yes.
Go.
That's it.
That's it. Thank
That
you
was
so
my,
much for that.
That was my musical
That's-
world this week.
That is great.
See how much you listen to me?
Indeed.
Yes.
All right, Tony, what do you have next? Hex, what's going on in your music world?
My music world, I actually have some stuff going on. I just picked up a couple of new pedals last week. I just got, guys from Earthquaker, if you're listening to this, you're going to kill me for butchering the name. The Hizumitas.
Hizumitas.
Yeah, the fuzz. It sounds like Mexican beer, but it sounds freaking great.
Yeah.
And I also picked up a JHS cheese ball.
Yeah.
Which is another interesting fuzz. I'm still trying to work out the kinks on that one. But just like lately, just been getting into fuzzes. And I'm actually updating this Gibson Les Paul Special that I bought a few months ago. Just swapping pickups, just putting TV Jones pickups, which have always been my favorite, even though now Tony's having me check some other stuff out just so I can expand my pickup mind.
Don't let me
Nice.
sway your opinion.
Yeah.
No, Tom makes great stuff. There's no doubt about it. So, but yeah, it's fun to experiment with some with some other builders too.
That's cool. Very cool. Very cool. Speaking of Earthquaker, I'm going to be in talks with Jamie. I think we'll get him on the show.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah, because that's out of all the pedals that I pretty much use, Earthquaker is one of the. I'm starting to amass a collection. Let me see.
There's a mustache bug on the wall.
Oh, there we go. I thought you were pointing at pedals.
Oh.
And I was, what do you have?
Yeah.
No, a bug.
Yeah,
It's a must. We call them. So when we moved here, I'd never seen one before, and it came on the wall, and we completely freaked out. We lost our mind.
Oh, they're just
we never
centipedes.
seen one before we lived here, and it looks like a mustache is crawling around on your wall,
Yeah.
But they're very, very helpful for households. So don't squash those people in Ohio. They don't hurt you, and they take care of all the stuff that you don't want to know about, and
Yeah.
your rugs and stuff.
Cook them up with some lemon juice and garlic.
No, I pretty much somebody has a recipe for those.
I bet. Anyhow, that's cool. All right, some new pedals from Earthquaker. We're going to get into all the other things that are going on with Hex in a little bit.
Todd, what about you?
Well, Tony, I'm so glad you asked.
I'm sure you are.
It's like, what hasn't Todd done with music this week?
Yeah, actually been a very busy one. Yeah, so Valentino's, we've been getting. We actually have a new PR person working with us, and I actually got very busy answering all kinds of emails from people. It's just really cool.
That is pretty cool.
We're getting listenings in Sweden and Italy and UK and I think Argentina, and then we got a hauler from this magazine called Happy in Australia. So,
that is cool.
Very anxious to talk to them soon.
Huh.
I'm holding up the Breakfast Audio concrete distortion pedal that we had. So Breakfast Audio was on not too long ago, probably around episode 300, something like that. Tony, maybe you can check while I talk in this voice.
Talk in that voice for some more.
But this is the concrete distortion is essentially a supercharged rat with sliders, and it has that the brutalist sort of vibe from the late.
It looks very sturdy.
From the mid to late 60s into the 70s. A lot of European, and I think there was a lot of brutalist stuff in like Brazil. Giant concrete structures that look imposing and stuff.
Yes. And for those who are checking, that is episode number 308.
Ooh, I was close. Okay, so I've been in conversation with Breakfast Audio, and I said, okay, you got to send me this when you break it out. And he said, I gave you number lucky 7.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
That's pretty cool. This looks
This
like
is a
something that
fuzz.
came
It
out
looks like a robot face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or something that
It
came out of
does
the
look like a
Millennium
robot
Falcon.
face. It's amazing. This is a dual roller fuzz pedal, and wait, I'm gonna hand it around, and I'm gonna have them do the rollers, and just listen to the ASMR of them actually like moaning. Okay. I haven't even plugged it in yet. I just opened it today.
Oh, that is cool.
Okay.
Oh, give it the hex.
Give it the
There
hex.
we go. Guess first.
Okay.
Oh, wow. You can actually like do this with your foot.
Uh-huh. So it has
Very
one roller
interesting.
for volume and one roller for fuzz, essentially.
Yeah.
No, so pretty much you just go all the way up and that's it.
Maybe.
Get one
Yeah.
try at it.
And on the inside, look on the inside, it's got the level
Oh,
marks.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes!
That is pretty cool. And it's
That's
actually
nice.
like pretty smooth too.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
It's such a great design. And I love that I've got the first, the two first models that came out, and from an artistic standpoint, from a sonic standpoint, it's just really, really great. It's a unique element out there.
So my only
the pedal world.
critique is the first one has jacks
Top
on
mounts.
top, and the second one has jacks on the side.
On the lower side.
Yes.
But that's because those rollers are taking up quite a bit
Yeah.
of room. I opened it up. Tony, you should open it up while
Let
we're
me
talking.
do that.
Because they're not like suspended. They're not.
So you open it up before plugging it in? Come on, man.
Well, because I had to do it's Mr. Mustache is right behind you.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hello,
What's up,
little
buddy?
Come on over.
Hey, now you got to give him a
You
name.
want some whiskey?
You name him Hex. That's fine. Anyhow,
You're going to call him Pepito, like that cartoon.
Perito.
No, Perito.
Yeah, but you can call him a
I'll
little
call him
dog.
Pepito.
Yeah.
Can be the pumpkin seed.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just really excited. Like I love artistic things, and this is one of those things that falls into that category.
The screws are a little long.
So, anyways, go over to Breakfast Audio and check it out. I would, if you are into collecting, especially collecting. No, no, I'm not going to say especially collecting. That's denigrating the sonic.
No, you want to just turn this thing on and
these
make it
look
loud.
like players,
Yeah, for sure.
and they look like they can take a beating too.
That is correct.
You see the little logo that lights up. There's an LED behind it. It says BA Breakfast Audio.
Yeah.
Oh wow, those are giant.
Yeah.
Holy moly! Now I can see why he had to put the jacks on the side.
Yep.
Oh wow!
But look, he's got them mounted onto actual rails
Yeah.
of aluminum.
Oh, that is really
Bars
cool.
of aluminum.
Bars of aluminum. Bars.
And
of
you know what?
aluminum.
And they don't look like through use they're gonna get stiff. You know, like how like this stuff in the Wawas and that you actually need to keep like putting some grease in it.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
this actually is like it's built pretty well.
Yeah. Alrighty. Hey, you know what we're gonna need to hook those pedals up? Especially those two, Tony.
Oh, I know why.
What would you use to hook these two pedals up?
Without a doubt, I would use Tour Gear Design's patch cables because you need to run cables from the top of one into the side of the other.
Yeah.
And you need an S-shaped
That's like
cable.
a 4-inch.
Yeah.
You might
S-shape.
actually need a
You might
W-shaped
even need
cable.
a 6-inch S shape on that one. For real.
I think longer, maybe an 8. Maybe a
What?
10.
Oh, you can get them all.
Oh!
Just to make sure.
Just
They
to be
have all of
safe.
it.
And I
Just
actually
to be safe.
have. That's what I use on my boards. I can't be any happier.
Nice.
Indeed. If you're not familiar with Tour Gear, if this is one of the first times you're listening in recent history, these patch cables are dynamite.
Yep.
They've got an extremely small profile, so they don't take up a bunch of room behind or on the side of your pedal.
The cable is flat.
It is flat,
And the plugs are...
the flat part's important because you're not twisting them. You're not
No.
bending them in ways
Right.
that they shouldn't be bent.
Right.
They're made to go around the pedals correctly.
And you can actually put your pedals even closer just because of that
you
lower
can
profile.
jam them on.
Yeah, I think you get easily another pedal or two on your board with the
For
Tour Gear
sure,
design.
for sure.
But
So-
you know, Todd,
Yes,
if you go over to tourgeardesigns.com
for a long time now.
and you load up your shopping cart,
Uh-huh.
at the end of the day, you go to where it says coupon code.
Yes,
Don't tell anyone this.
I won't. I will keep it a secret. And if anybody finds out, we're gonna go bag and tag Hex.
It's Hex.
Well, when I actually bought my first order, I forgot to put that code.
well, here's
so
your
use
coupon.
the code. Yes,
Hex.
Use it.
Write it down. You got your pen.
There you go.
The guitar knobs, all lowercase, all one word.
or the guitar knobs. You can write either one.
The. I choose the.
Yes.
And you're going to save an extra 10% on what are already very affordable, very high quality.
Indeed.
I can't say enough good things about them.
Well, fortunately we get to do that every week. I will also say, if you are responsible in any way for running a guitar shop out there, they are looking for shops to get their product in.
Oh, nice.
So make some connections out there, everybody. Okay. All right.
That is good to know.
Now, thanks to
To-
Tour Gear
for
sponsoring
our
4 on the Floor. Hex, you want to do it?
Let me get a little bit of this.
Wow, I think we need the overdrive pedal or something.
Yeah, here.
I tell you,
Okay,
dude,
let's
it's like
split him up.
it's hard when you sound like a Muppet already, and you're trying to make a cool
Come on,
voice.
you can do it. Lean in. Yeah, we want a big one. Here we go.
Big one. Do it.
Let me. Oh Jesus!
Come on, dig.
Oh, hold on.
Hey,
What is
wait,
it?
Tony, give him
There we go.
show him how it's done.
Let me get a little bit of
See,
this.
that sounds a hell of a lot better than go with that one, dude. You can never get me to sound like that. It's gonna be impossible.
Okay, will do. All
right.
let's use that one.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
It worked.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right, Hex Mattos,
Yes,
guitarist
sir.
extraordinaire and coiffure to the kings. What's your
like
4 on the
that.
floor?
My 4 on the floor, pretty much. I'm playing with 2 different bands right now, so I have stuff I use on each board. So mine pretty much is gonna be like, what are my favorite pedals right now? And the first one is a pedal that is made by a company in San Diego, the Nocturne Brain. Tavo Vega is the builder's name. He makes really cool pedals, especially if you're like into like rockabilly or stuff like that. He makes one that is called the Mystery Brain, the BS301, which he actually started making preamps that actually pretty much just dirty up your amp without just being loud. And what it works really good with filtertrons, and I actually use a lot of filtertrons. And it pretty much, it just brightens up the amp. The 301 actually has a delay, and it's like a reproduction of the Roland Space Echo. And everything is just in one box. And actually, you got to play with it when you came to my house.
Yeah.
This is the pink one.
Yeah.
And that thing is just like, usually when I'm practicing at home, that's the only thing I have plugged in.
I was going to say,
Because-
if there's one pedal that probably can do you better than anything, it's probably that pedal.
Yeah. Like I can actually do like a small gig with just that and an amp, and it's perfect. And the second one is from him also, and he just built this for me and got it like a couple of weeks ago. It's a fuzz, and it's called the Fuzz Ray. There's an artist in England called Vince Ray that he does like all these like cool like rockabilly artwork, and there's a lot of bands that actually like use him for like t-shirt designs, and he has his own band. And this fuzz is super cool. It actually has just 2 knobs, but inside it has a diode that you can actually move it around just so you can actually get more or less gain. So those are 2. Then I'm actually gonna go with 2 pedals I'm actually using a lot, and they're from Earthquaker. I'm using the speaker cranker, and for some reason that pedal is like magic with box amps. It's like, I don't know what it does to it.
Have you used it with other amps?
I only have, well, actually, you know what? I used it with a Tone King Gremlin.
Okay.
And it pretty much, he sweetens that one up too. It just, like I actually got it to use it as a boost, but I actually just like it just on its own. Sometimes I stack it with a Plumes, which is my other pedal on the 4 on the floor.
Okay.
It's just like Earthquaker just makes great stuff. I'm starting to build up a modest collection of Earthquaker devices, pedals, and plus they're from Akron, Ohio. You gotta support. You gotta support local. And everything they make that I have purchased, I'm super happy with. Actually, my favorite tremolo is the Hummingbird. And I have 3 of them.
Nice.
Just in case one breaks, it's like you always got to have a backup. So, there we go. See, I'm a fidgety person, man. It's just like I'm all like, there we go. But that's pretty much my 4 on the floor right now. Ask me next month, that'll be different. But right now, those are like pedals that are just great. And
right.
Especially like the Nocturne stuff. He makes so many different things that it's pretty much is like a lot of people that are into, like Gretches and into like rockabilly. They know who he is, but you can use all his stuff into all different kinds of music. It's just that kind of like, that's how he kind of started. But it's like everything he makes is just great.
Awesome.
It's like I can't say anything wrong about that.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I think we're going to learn a little bit more about what you're doing and what you're playing and why some of those choices are super important and relevant. It's interesting. California actually has a lot of very significant builders of very specific things for very specific genres, especially in the rockabilly or even like the folk rock, the sort of the vintage sort of Western thing, you know, with the high cuff Levi's and all that, and the
Bakersfield sound, all
Bakersfields,
that stuff.
yeah. So, anyways, well, thank you for sharing that with us. And as you mentioned, next week you'll probably have a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
And that's the fun thing is like, you know, whenever we get something new, I think we kind of found a kinship in saying, "Ooh, look what I got."
Yeah.
All right, let's find out more about Hex beyond his 4 on the floor. Tony, do you have anything to add before we do that?
I do not.
Okay.
But I am anxious to hear the whole Hex story.
The whole story, yes. Hex, why don't you start with the story you started telling before, like, before we were about to start?
When you and I met, you actually talked about that we met at Rumba Cafe at one of my shows.
Yeah.
And when we started talking, we pretty much realized that we were, like from Southern California and all that other stuff. So
going to like the same shows and everything, you didn't even know it.
And the thing is that, like he friended me on Instagram and I'm like, oh, he plays guitar. Because he never said anything about, oh, I play guitar, I do a podcast, none of it. I found all this stuff out, just me, it's like I felt like a private detective. And I'm like, who's this guy? Well, hold on a second. He plays guitar. Oh, he has a band. Oh, he has a podcast? That's how I ended up listening to the podcast, just by Todd's promotion that he never did. It's like,
I didn't want to Insta-bro too hard,
Yeah, but, like as soon as I saw it, it was actually like a pleasant surprise. And here we are. But I actually just thought it was just hilarious because we talked for like a good hour and a half.
Yeah.
And never mentioned anything about guitars, the podcast, nothing like that. And now that's all we talked about.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So what's funny is I didn't know that. I didn't know that I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
We were too busy just talking about, like, because what are the odds of like two people at the same show, living in the same state, from a completely different state, that we were like living extremely close to each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty random.
It is random. And actually it's more random just, like how deep into guitars you are. Because, like it's rare. Usually like people ask you about, oh, so what is that? Or what's this? But, like you guys go like into a lot of detail. Mm. And I was actually surprised you didn't even ask me of any of that. Which it was super interesting. Now, the second time you came over, then we actually had like a mini Rick rundown.
Yeah.
Just explaining kind of like how...
After the Pumpkin show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, no, it was before the Pumpkin show.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, is that one of your shows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Then after that, I started showing you stuff that I didn't have on my board.
Well.
Yeah.
It was the 1st of April.
It was the 1st of May.
Oh, my God. I'm glad I went to the bathroom before we started this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Maurice Chevalier. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we can get deep on so many things. Go ahead. Hex. So, yes, I was really blown away with your playing. I really... I dug it. It had a sound that I was familiar with that I hadn't heard in a while, because living out here, you don't hear things that sound like Orange County area.
Yeah, and the thing, too, is that there's like what some people call like the California sound.
Right.
And when I actually moved out here, it just like heard like a lot of people, oh, my God, you sound like Kid Ramos or this. But it's because that's what I was around all the time, and is the people that I gravitated with and the sound that I liked. So I was actually surprised when I moved to Ohio, and oh my God, nobody sounds like this. Like, is it just me? But it's just one thing I noticed is that there's bands that are focus on the West Coast, and they don't come out here, and vice versa.
Yeah.
There's bands that I found out about moving to Ohio that I never heard of in my life. And my wife is like, "You never heard of them?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Well, how come? And I'm like, "Well, have you heard of these guys?" No. Well, there we go. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's just like there's like I think it's like once you hit Texas, there's like a disconnect. It's like that's where everybody stops.
Yeah.
So like East Coast bands stop in Texas and then come back, and the same thing on the other side.
That's fair. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because one of the things that we've heard about my band, the Valentinos, even out here, is like they can't. Some people haven't been able to put their finger on what that. And when John was recording, he's like, "You have a very," I think he just said L.A.
yeah.
LA sound, which is don't misconstrue that. It doesn't mean we sound like Motley Crue or something,
Yeah.
like which is like super LA. But there's if you go into the reaches beyond that and you get into like early days of like X and all
Yeah.
that stuff, it's like there's just a sound that happens.
Yeah,
there.
it's like when you think about it, it's just like when grunge came out in Seattle. It was the Seattle sound. It's just like
Yeah.
like every like back when REM and all that, the Athens, Georgia sound. It's
Right.
just like everything is very like
Yeah.
local to a specific
and really,
area.
it's LA, Orange County. I mean, there's
Oh, yeah.
most of it sits in the middle. So everybody don't get too geographic. Don't start throwing rocks on me because I'm geographically.
Rockstartodd.com.
Anyhow, so we've established that. Now, we've talked a lot about your sound already. What got you into this particular type of sound?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad, pretty much, just long story short, he got drafted. And
Baseball?
he ended up, I wish. No, he got drafted to the military. And he got sent to Alaska. So you take a guy from Puerto Rico that's never seen snow and you stick him in Alaska for 4 years.
God.
With a
Oh,
rifle.
Yeah. All my dad did was just listen
Freeze.
to music. Yeah. So he wouldn't freeze. He'll just sit there and listen to music. And he got into Johnny Cash, Chet Atkins, pretty much anything he could get his hands on.
Right.
Herb Alpert, which I'm like a huge fan. And he brought all those records with him. And there was always music around my house. And it was just him. I think like he listened to more music than do chores and errands around the house. I remember just like the weekends, it was just music. And
Nice.
I don't remember when I figured out I wanted to play guitar. It's just one of those things that I knew. And at 3 years old, I asked my dad, I want a guitar. He's like, "You're too little." It's like, I just want a guitar. And I think I saw somebody play guitar at church, something like that. I just knew I liked it. So my dad came home with a toy guitar. And he's like, "Here you go." And I'm like, "This is for babies." I want a guitar, not a toy. So my dad took me to a music store in San Juan. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. And my dad, we found like a little Spanish guitar made in Spain. And this was in 76, it was $375.
Whoa.
So it wasn't cheap.
Whoa.
And it was my perfect size. And I just like, this is what I want. And the guy wouldn't sell it to my dad. My dad literally had to beg the guy, "Please
'cause he's
sell
probably
it
gonna,
to
like, this is
me."
gonna get trashed.
He's like, "Please sell it to me," because he won't shut up about it. And the guy ended up selling it to him. And that's the guitar I used to learn how to play. There was a lady in our preschool that played guitar too, and she was like our music teacher. So my dad asked her if she could teach me. She's like, "Well, he's too little. When he turns 5, if he wants to play, I'll teach him." So on my 5th birthday, my dad asked what I wanted, and I told him guitar lessons. And that's pretty much how
Wow.
everything started.
Nice.
But just my dad's love for music is what got me into it. Plus, he liked to challenge me. Like when I was in my teenage years and I discovered Iron Maiden and Motley Crue and Judas Priest and all that other stuff, and of course Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, oh my God, I need to learn how to do this. And I'll be like in my room messing around, and my dad will walk by and he knocks at the door. He's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm trying to figure this out. And he'll go like, come here. And he'll take me to his little music room and he'll play me a Chet Atkins record. And he turns around and he goes like, when you play like that, come talk to me. That was his thing.
Wow.
Wow.
When you can play like that, come talk to me. So years later, when I actually recorded,
KK Downing's like, hey, wait a minute, man.
yeah. But when I recorded my first record with the rockabilly band I had in California, the Southerners, I played it for him. And at that time, my dad had like early stages of Alzheimer's, but he can still remember some stuff. And I played the record, and the only thing he said was, "You're welcome," and he walked away.
Wow.
Because he knew the reason why I was playing like that was for all the stuff that he kept showing me as a teenager that I never paid attention.
Yeah.
It just like it came natural to me because I was around it the whole
Because you
time.
knew the sound, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did your dad pass?
Yes. Yeah, he passed in 2015.
Rough.
Yeah, miss him every day. But yeah, every time I play, it was him. Actually, I went to music school for like a little bit, and I wanted to be a marine biologist coming out of high school. And he looked at me, he's like, the hell do you want to do that? You don't even do your homework.
Dude,
He's like, you should be a musician. You know,
I
you
studied
spent
marine biology at Orange Hills College
You
for
see,
2
there
years.
you go. my dad literally just looked at me. He's like, all you do is play guitar. Just be a musician. When the hell do you want to be a marine biologist? You can't even do your homework.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was pretty much it. It's just like he was like super, like I wouldn't be where I'm at today, like musically and doing what I actually like love if it wasn't for him.
That's awesome.
Nice.
It's a good story, man.
Thanks.
And yet another strange coincidence. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, and
It's
the
so
thing too,
weird.
I wanted to study marine biology because I spent most of my time at the beach growing up in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And we had a friend that was a marine biologist, but like my dad said, it's just like, you're not gonna be Jacques Cousteau. You're not gonna be out in the ocean. You're gonna be in a freaking lab making, taking measurements of how much, like chemicals are in water and all this. And I'm like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you can actually get a degree in music. So, I was like 15, 16 when I
Yeah.
actually made that choice. So,
Huh. Now, and what do you do just when you're not playing music? What's your sort of role in life right now?
I'm a drafter and designer.
Okay.
And for some weird reason, actually, I was just talking to somebody because we're actually interviewing somebody. And I worked in the interview, and he plays guitar.
Cool.
And I just like, you know what? For some weird reason, a lot of music, like guitar players, are either drafters or designers, or they're in the field.
Yeah.
Like Brian Setzer, he was a drafter, like the old school way, like drawing and stuff like that
naturally.
with pencil.
Wait,
yeah.
I mean, can you see Brian's? Can you see him on a computer? I don't
Well,
think so.
not now. He did that. He did that like in the 70s.
Yeah.
But it just like for some reason it's like, I never, when people used to tell me like in high school, oh, music and math are related. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. It's just like you don't think about it, but it's just like I always think very mathematically. Even though I sucked at math in school, but as an adult, it just like everything just kind of like started making sense.
Yeah. How many times did you take algebra, please? Don't
Oh,
say- Did you
geez.
say-
You know what? I probably, actually, you know what? Let's put it like this. When I went to, so before I went to University of California, Riverside, I went to community college. They had a class called Mathematics for Liberal Arts Students. And that's what I took.
I'm no fool, no siree. I'm gonna live to 103.
It's actually kind of like, there was a joke on King of the Hill. She's like, oh, I take Algebra 3. What do you think? Oh, my math class is just called math.
Yeah, that's
That was me.
That's
and even
crazy.
then, I'm like, oh my God. It's just like, this sucks. But then as like I said, I got older, and I just like, what? It just like, if you start actually like putting math and using like musical reference, especially like theory, it's just like, oh, fractions. Oh my God, if somebody would explain me fractions like this, I would have gotten it way back then.
Probably. Something I just signed up for. I bit the bullet and got masterclass. I don't know why I've been waiting so long, but I finally signed up for the masterclass program out there. I don't know if you guys have all seen it, but it's essentially the inside baseball from like every kind of possible artistic, philosophic, political, all of the areas.
I've seen it because I know Danny Elfman is doing one.
Yes, and that's like, the one I started with.
Oh, really?
I started with it, and it's, oh my gosh, I cannot recommend this more highly. And we got it we're not being sponsored or anything, but you can do 6 devices for $20 a month, and you have access. His episode thing alone is like 20 episodes.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And it's all about scoring music for film. Now, I don't score music for film. I actually do put together music for videos in my day job and stuff. Not every single day, but often enough.
Yeah.
But the point is that you're learning how people think. You're learning how people solve problems. You're learning how people relate to people that they don't need to relate to every day.
Yeah.
How to find creativity, how to find your own voice, how to follow it or how to ignore it. It's like, it is invaluable. I cannot more highly recommend it.
I'm going to need to check that out. I've been curious about it, but, like whenever you look for information, it's just like you see like clips of it.
Yeah.
It's like I've never heard anybody that has used it and talk about exactly what their experience is with it.
I'm so excited about it. I can't stop watching it. And the reason I bring that up is because he specifically says, I was terrible in math.
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, I hated it. I was terrible at it. And he says, but I loved music. And everybody kept telling me, math is just like music. And I didn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
And he said that he found his way in that he doesn't need to be great at math. But now understanding music better, he can understand how there is that connection. But you don't have, if you're bad at math, that doesn't mean you're going to be bad at music.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Go listen to that, everybody.
I actually want to, because it's interesting. And
how was my Danny Elfman impression? Did you like that?
That was actually pretty good, especially you did the same thing with the hands.
Yeah.
And if you follow him on Instagram, dude, he has like a lot of he has an obsession with hands. He collects hands. But he's like just listening to him. And actually, I remember one time I was listening to Oingo Boingo. And this is when my kids were little, my 2 boys. And my youngest son is like, why is Jack Skellington singing rock and roll, Dad? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh,
yes,
Danny Elfman. So I had to explain it to him.
I had to explain that to people here because I'm like, oh, you got to listen to this, and it's Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's that? Wait, he does the and I was like, yeah. And I realized Oingo Boingo was it's very West Coast thing. People have no idea what it is out here.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about because growing up in Southern California, Oingo Boingo was like
huge
the stuff.
And on Halloween, they used to do a concert in downtown
Irvine Meadows.
Yeah, and before they started doing it in Hollywood. On the street.
At the
No, not on the Palladium. It was like outside, like outdoor, but it was like right on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay.
And then they started doing series, but when I moved to LA in 1990, they were like K-Rock darlings.
Yeah.
Which K-Rock is like the big alternative station down in LA. It's just like to the point that they will have K-Rock nights at bars, or like somebody will like, oh, what kind of music do you listen to? And they will answer, I listen to K-Rock music, which to me was just strange. And I'm like, K-rock music. What the hell is that? Then I understood it wasn't just music. It's just like the culture that gravitated.
Right. Well, you were either one of three people. You were either KLOS.
Yeah.
You were either KNAC, or you were either K-rock.
K-rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about that.
Yeah.
Well, I was, the thing that always stuns me is when you think about in the last probably 30, 40 years, I would say half of the films have been scored by either Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo or Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how did these guys go from that to this?
Yeah,
and it's amazing.
And the thing is that the Danny Elfman is so interesting because he, like Steve Bartek is the guitar player for Oingo Boingo. Well,
He
Steve
scores with
Bartek,
him.
He actually writes the scores, the charts for the for the musicians to play it because
it's an orchestrator.
yeah, it's like it's just crazy because they're still working together, but it's like he pretty much just composed stuff on the keyboard, sing something, and there's Steve Bartek behind him just writing all the parts and stuff like that, and it's like I remember the first time I heard Oingo Boingo, how precise everything is.
So tight.
It's just like the rhythms, but when you think about it and like the musicians behind it, it helps you understand. It's just like these are like educated guys playing rock and roll.
Yeah.
And just created, like their own sound because nobody sounds like Oingo Boingo.
No. And same thing for Devo with Mark Mothersbaugh.
Oh, yeah. They were just so out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is amazing. And, you talk about like guitar players scoring things. Many people don't know that Mick Ronson did all of the orchestration for all the early Bowie stuff.
Yeah. Well, and specifically the Spiders era.
Well, Spiders era. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Anyways, hey,
there you go.
Music, everybody. Go get some.
Okay, so how did you end up in Cleveland, Ohio?
Oh, wait. I'm going to
hold
do
on a
something
second.
right now. Hey, everybody. So when I signed up for Masterclass, I got 3. Hopefully the time hasn't run out. I got 3
Invitation.
like little codes and
little
stuff.
codes that I can give away. All right.
Yeah, send it to me. 'Cause
Okay. Tony's Hex is going to get one, and I have one left. So if I haven't given it away, if you want that, just shoot me an email or DM me, and I'll see what I can do.
On Patreon.com.
No,
Yes.
you can put it on Rocks for Todd.
Yeah. Okay. And,
Nice.
and I don't even know what the discount is, but hey, it's out there.
It's
I'm
worth
willing to,
something.
I'm willing to share that with
And
you.
then I'm just
that
going
is
to drive
really
up to
cool.
Cleveland and watch it with Hex.
There you
Yeah.
go. Perfect. All right. Let's get back to you and your stuff. Now, how did you fall in love with the Vox?
How do I fall in love with the Vox? I've always loved that sound. I just didn't know what that sound was. And I'm actually gonna like backtrack into like a little so when I started playing music, I actually played in a rocking Spanish band because that's the only band I could find. And it was just like by accident. But I started, like messing around with pedals, and I think like the first amp that I actually had was, I think it was like a Crate GX80. I don't even know if that's like a...
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but that thing was like, you can run pedals through it and stuff like that. I didn't know that was like a so entry level amp. But when I actually like started getting better and getting more stuff, I just gravitated to Fender. And because to me, that was just like, especially being in California and Fender,
Right.
being from there, it's just like Fender's everywhere. And after that, I started playing in a new wave band.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to have just like clean headrooms. So everything was pretty much just based around Fender. But I always had, what the hell is that sound that I hear on my head? It just like I will like listen to Edge playing some stuff, and I just like, oh my god, it's just and my thing when I think I even said this on the Vox episode, he's just like, what's that pedal that he's using? And not the delay, is that overdrive, and it's just the Vox cranked up. So one of my friends Thomas, he actually bought an AC30, and he plays in a band with my wife, the Torments. And they did a show. They opened up for the Whiskey Daredevils, and he comes with his.
That's the band that
that's
you're
the
in,
band
the Whiskey
I'm in
Daredevils.
Now. He puts it on stage, takes out the cover, plugs it in, and he plays one chord. And I remember I was like sitting. I still remember exactly. It's like when you meet like the love of your life. That's the exact same thing that happened with that amp. He just like just play one chord. And I'm like, that's the sound that I've heard all my head this whole time.
Cool.
And that's pretty much, I bought an AC30 that same week. Then when the Daredevils toured Germany and Belgium, and they rented an AC30 out there. So I actually got to play with it like every single night and get used to it and see what I can do with it. And it's been my amp ever since. Actually, I came back from Europe and found an AC15 and bought it just because I'm like, I need something lighter for different things. And it's just like I just can't get away from that. It's just like it's my favorite sound. It's just like I know if my pedal board breaks, I can just plug straight in and it has the sound.
Yeah, that's cool.
Probably turn it to the wall so it doesn't blow anybody's head off. But it's just like it does everything that I want it to do. If I want it clean, I can clean it up. If I want it dirtier, I can. It's one thing. Like Fenders are great amps, but to me, it's like they're just good for one thing, and it's clean. That's pretty much it. And I used to play like Hot Rod DeVille's, so you can imagine, like you can't.
I had one of those for a hot minute.
Actually, I used one of those for like a long time. Actually, I used to run 2. Don't ask me why.
Wow.
But, and.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like that fits what you do so much.
Not now. Back then, when I was actually like playing like in a full-on rockabilly band, it worked great because I like just use like a tube screamer just to dirty it up like a little bit. Hold on, there we go.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, to dirty it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It worked great. But I didn't want to depend on just, like that overdrive.
Yeah.
It's just like I just like the way the amp, because those amps, if you need to put them past 4 just to get them to have a good sound.
Yeah.
And that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
You can never go freaking anywhere and just like.
And anything past 4 is like almost too loud.
Yeah, and actually before I got the Vox, I used to play to Vibrolux. And that thing, you turn the volume all the way down and you can still hear it.
Yeah.
You can actually play chords and you can. And one of my friends told me, there's like a mod you can,
Yeah.
What's the point of? Yeah. What's
so
the point of?
I got to turn my amp down to 0 and have a mod.
Yeah. And I actually used to use a baffle, and it was still loud.
Wow.
So
Hex, we know you love Vox amplifiers. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the guitars that you use?
Pretty much always been a Fender Gretsch guy. I'm starting to dabble into Gibsons. For some reason, it's like Fender and Gretsch were just something that, going back to my dad being a Chet Atkins fan, it just like right away, just like Gretches. And then, I discovered the Stray Cats in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And Gretsch was always like right there. And Telecasters, I always like how they look. It's funny because like one of the first guitar I ever owned, electric, and I wish I still had that guitar. It was a Honor Les Paul Classic copy. It freaking looked like what's the guitar player for Cinderella? Tom Kiefer. that white with the black pickguard. It looked exactly like a Les Paul, but it just said Honor on top. It just one of those like lawsuit guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And it was heavier than hell. It just like, back when I was 14 when I got it, I was like 130 pounds wet.
Yeah.
So and then it came, I remember it came with a strap that looked like a shoelace because it was so freaking, and I'm like, how did people do this? And I had that guitar for a long time. And then after that, when I moved to California.
So wait,
I
you
ended
don't
up-
have that guitar anymore?
Dude, I wish I had it. If I had it right now, it would be like, I wouldn't, because I don't even know how much those things are worth now.
You know what they
Because-
say about that?
What?
Well, let's ask Tom Keefer. Don't know what you got
Exactly.
till it's gone.
Yeah.
That's right.
And actually, I had, my dad bought me a 65 deluxe reverb. And that was my amp. And I remember
Wow.
going like,
Yeah.
where's the distortion sound? You're a kid. You don't know, about pedals. You don't know about any of this stuff. So when we moved to California, we left some stuff in Puerto Rico that my uncle was going to ship. So I asked, then when I moved to California, I knew what I had. And just like, oh my God, I need to get this amp back. Call my uncle, and I knew as soon as he said, I knew it wasn't good. He's like, my uncle is a teacher, and he took it to school to use it as a PA
boy.
and sat it on top of a chair. And some genius kept walking with the microphone, and the amp did a
no.
face plant on the floor. He's like, it stopped working, so I threw it away. I'm still mad about that.
And
He's like-
he didn't well, he's a teacher.
No, and the thing is that he would have said, hey, you know what, this broke. That's not a problem. That can be fixed.
Yeah.
No, he's like, it doesn't work anymore. Out the trash you go.
Oh my.
Jeez.
So, what's your current guitar
My
lineup?
current guitar lineup right now is the main guitar I use with the Daredevils is 2011 Fender Calibration Cabronita that I picked up in Nashville the weekend I got married. So that one is actually called Honey Out of Honeymoon. Plus, there's something that people don't know. I name my guitars after Bond girls. So they all have,
All
So for
right.
example, I have like my white Telecaster that you built a pickguard for it.
Yeah.
That one is Pussy Galore. I call her Miss Galore.
Miss
Right.
Galore.
That's why I had, you just had to look. Then Money Penny is my Gretsch.
Okay.
The anniversary.
Okay.
Because it wasn't cheap. So it's just,
Yeah.
For example, the Gretsch that I actually brought, the Duo Jet, that one is called Vesper, out of Vesper.
I was just going to
Linen.
ask you, which one's Vesper?
That one.
Okay.
And
And that's the black Duo Jet.
Yeah. But the Cabronita is Honey, and that guitar is like I found it in Nashville, and it was funny because I told my wife we need to go to Guitar Center because it was the only close place. I couldn't go to Grooms or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can find a used guitar. We walked in. She goes to the bathroom, and I saw the headstock and the body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's probably like a Mexican Cabronita.
Yeah.
Then hold on a second. It has TV Jones on them. I picked it up and I see what it is, and then I see $800. I told the guy, just give me a cable. I plugged it in, played a chord. All right, I'm done. She comes out of the bathroom. I say, okay, I'm gonna pay for this. What? You've only been in here for 10 minutes and yeah, that's it. And I want to leave. It's just like I've been wanting this guitar forever, and just to find it and for that price,
Yeah.
and
And what color is that one?
it's black.
Is that the one you threw the sparkle guard on?
Yeah. Thanks to Tony, he
Yeah.
furnished like a nice little sparkle.
It's silver
pick guard
sparkle.
for
isn't it?
silver
did silver
sparkle.
sparkle on
Yeah.
that one.
So what was funny is when we played our show together at Rumba, when I was out there watching, at least 5 or 6 people go, is that your guitar? Because you had yellow lights on you. I don't know if you do it.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked like a gold it looked like, and I had just posted a bunch of pictures of like, hey, look,
Yeah.
I got a Cabernino with a black Cabernino with a gold pickguard. It was kind of cool. Going like, oh, that's what those look like up there.
Yeah, no, they're freaking like perfect. And what I like about the pick guards is like, I don't know if this is the right, they're meatier than the standard pick guard. It's like it has some body and some girth.
Just like Tony.
So like,
Body and Girth. That's me. That's my other new band. Body and Girth.
but especially the gold one that you built me for. I've always liked how like white Telecaster
Yeah.
look with the gold anodized pick guard.
Yeah.
But I don't like those metal things.
Yeah.
It just like I
It's very
actually
thin.
bought one, and then like you go like you scratch them, and then there's like nail marks on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I get like a little bit too OCD when it comes to my stuff, and the one you built is freaking perfect. It's just like I love just how it looks, because that's how I wanted that guitar to look from the beginning. So
One of the things that, if we can just pimp Tony here really quick, I
Sure.
think one of the things that I appreciate about it is that, yes, you have great materials that you really can't
Yes.
find in other places. Also, I've seen you when you build them. It's one thing to say, "Oh, okay, I cut a piece of plastic. All right, fine," but the finish on them, with the polishing the edges
Yeah.
and doing all that stuff, man, that's the extra touch of
Yes.
artistry that
Extra
makes
love.
them nice.
yeah.
But and then
Just
I
like
think-
Tony.
That's right. And last time I think you also had was it a Reverend baritone?
Yes, that's another one. Actually, that one is a Reverend Pete Anderson East Sider, and I found a place in Texas that they had a gold sparkle one. I think they only made like 12 just for that particular store, and I love that guitar. It's like it just has that cool twangy, like baritone sound. Plus, it has a twang bar,
Yeah.
which
Now-
is even better.
Do you find it difficult going back and forth between baritone scale and standard scale?
I found it difficult writing on it and trying to explain to somebody else what the chord progression is, because I go by sound. So I'm like, okay, like on a regular guitar, this would be G, but no, it's not G. I think it's like E or something like that. No, it's D. So just having to, because automatically when you're playing with people, they just look at your hands.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're like, oh, he's playing in G. No, it's not G. And I'm sitting there counting, like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Just make this sound, doggone
So
it.
yeah, so is it tuned? What's the
it's tuned to B.
B? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
so-
so it's
yeah.
full step down.
Yeah. And actually, those guitars were made to be tuned to C. Like when you get those guitars originally, they come with lighter baritone strings.
Interesting.
And I tried tuning it to B because the stuff that I was writing was on B. And I'm like, man, these strings are floppy. So I ended up finding, and the thing is that they have locking tuners on it. So you can't just get regular baritone strings and they don't go through the tuner. So I actually found some, I think they're Ernie balls, that they have the same, like the baritone consistency, but they're a little bit thinner. And I can actually do bends and stuff like that, which with regular baritone strings, there's no way in hell you can do pedal steel
Yeah.
bends or anything like that with it. So it's a very versatile guitar.
Nice.
Strangely, I think it would be really interesting to hear you work a slide into that.
You see, now you're starting the, like the little thoughts, and we're like, huh,
Yeah.
that sounds actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much like I just started integrating my Gresh Duo Jet. I use that a lot more when I play with 45 Spider.
And 45 Spider is
The second band that I'm playing in, where my wife is the drummer.
uh-huh.
So it's actually like pretty cool actually just going to shows and just like spending all the time with her
Yeah.
and loading her drum kit into my
She's
You know,
a cool
like-
cat. She's a real cool
into
cat.
my truck before I just like,
yes.
oh, I have to worry about this. Oh, now I have
Yeah.
this. But it's fun. It's a fun group of people, and I have a blast playing with them.
So what kind of stuff is that?
It's garage rock.
Right on.
So lots of fuzz, which is one of the main things. For some reason, Filtertrons are not known to love fuzzes. Well, look at Jack White.
Yeah.
That's all he's using now. So I actually saw him and it's just like, let me try that. And for some reason, fuzz boxes love Filtertrons.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Well, they're
But-
hum canceling for one thing, and they're low output.
Yeah. But they still, like if you turn around, you get that
Yeah.
feedback. And they're not like, when I started playing with them, I was using my Strat. Because my friend Thomas
Well,
used
that's
to
your
play
problem right
with
there.
them. And he recorded with a Strat. So me, it's just like I'm one of those, like if I like to put my own things into like projects, but if there's something already there and it works,
Yeah.
there's no point of messing with it. I just like, I think I can do it, but no, that's BS.
Yeah.
Like if it sounds right the first time, just take the time and just like, it's kind of like you're paying homage to whoever,
Sure.
like you're either replacing or, and that's one thing that I did with the Daredevils as well. It just like,
Yeah,
like
'cause
that
you're not
song.
the original guitarist.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm the third guitar player. No, fourth. Because
Okay.
when they started, they had 2 guitar players and one left. Then that guy pretty much like all the first records, and then they got somebody else.
Yeah.
So when it was my time to actually like play with them, it just like, oh my God, like that's a cool song, but it needs to sound like that song.
Yeah.
So that's when I started experimenting with more overdrives and more things, because the sound is pretty much straightforward.
Yeah.
It's just certain songs need like different.
Yeah. Not
like-
heavy doses either. Just
just
enough.
like a little bit. And the way I use overdrives too is just to push the amp. It's not to color it. So my main sound is not the pedal. The pedal is just adding like a little bit to the sound of the box.
Right.
Which is what I like about boxes, because for example, when I played Fender, it's just like if I had like a dirty sound, it was a pedal. It was not the amp.
Yeah.
Now it's the other way around. It's mostly the amp. The overdrives, they're just adding just
Yeah.
like a little bit of
So
juice
so
to
it'll be
it.
interesting to hear. I loaned you a bunch of pedals
Yes.
tonight, and the Copper Sound Gravity Bomb, which is it's a boost, but it's got a mid hump option on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to try that out.
Yeah. Well, Hex, we can of course talk for hours about this, as people who are close to both of us know. So
Yeah.
we'll continue doing that off air. But
Yeah.
we need to round third and head home. Tony, how are we doing
Absolutely.
that?
Well, we're going to do a segment we love to call Would You Rather?
That's man, you came in strong with the.
Yeah.
Give me
Hex.
some of this.
Can you do?
I can
you-
actually
do this.
Do that.
Okay, do the-
Would you rather with a little Puerto Rican accent? There we go.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. How would you say that in Espanol?
Without using bad words, I don't know. Let's see. Would you rather? I can't think of it.
Okay.
Because I don't
Or a
even
loose translation of that.
Because the thing is that we don't use that kind of terminology. We're just kind of like, either you do it or you don't. There's never a, well, you rather do this or do that. It's
So
like
you're
either
Jedis.
either you do it or you don't.
Okay.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right.
This week's Would You Rather.
Yes.
You know what we're bringing back?
No.
The world's favorite time machine.
Yes, I love the
Oh,
time machine.
Time
Boy.
machine. Time machine. Bringing back the time machine.
You know that I've actually have thought about this, man. If I could actually get on a time machine and go down 60s,
Yeah.
50s.
That's a whole other show.
I
Yes.
know.
Save it.
Save
It's
it.
like- yeah.
Save it.
Because what you're going to do is you're going to hop in your time machine back to, say, 1970.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Not a good year for Telecasters, but that's fine.
Most guitars in general.
Okay.
So this is kind of an interesting tweak because you're going to purchase 2 guitars that are somewhat iconic. Those and the third guitar.
Did you say purchase?
Purchase. You're going to find Billy Zoom's 1955 Gretsch Silverjet.
Ooh.
And you're going to own it.
Okay.
Not Billy. You're also going to find Brian Setzer's 1959 Gretsch 6120, the orange one.
Smoke. I think that's the name of it.
It might be.
Yeah.
And just for kicks, you're also picking up a brand spanking new 1970s Fender Strat.
Ooh.
Now,
I just keep thinking of the 3 bolts.
Why is this good?
this is
Okay.
what we're getting to the good part.
All right.
Because you now have the choice of making or breaking 2 iconic guitarists' careers. So there's Billy Zoom
Okay.
of X fame
Yes.
and Brian Setzer of Stray Cats fame.
Yes, and Brian Setzer Orchestra.
And Brian
Maybe
Setzer
even
Orchestra.
more so.
Yeah. So you're back in the time
What
machine.
does the Strat have to do with it?
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So this is the would you rather part. So
Okay.
you're back in the machine. Stop number 1. You're in 1980 London.
Okay.
And just an aside note, in 1980, what were the Stray Cats sold all of their instruments so that they could have airfare to get to London.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well,
Yeah.
you happen to be walking down the street,
Yeah.
and you run into a gentleman by the name of Brian Robert Setzer,
Uh-huh.
who's looking for a guitar.
Uh-huh.
Now, option 1 is you can give him his Gretsch 6120, the orangey,
Uh-huh.
or the Strat.
Uh-huh.
A little side note, Brian Setzer used to play a Strat with the Bloodless Pharaohs, which is the band that kind of like, he had that band with his brother
Yeah.
that played drums. And when they split up, Lee Rocker and Slim Jim were friends with his brother. So he kind of like snaked them from there. But and there's pictures. It's weird just seeing him with a sunburst Strat.
Nice. Well, this actually makes it more interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your option. You can give Brian Setzer the Gretsch 6120
Yeah.
or a Strat.
Uh-huh.
Stop number 2 is 1977 Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And you run into a gentleman by the name of Ty Kindle, also known as Billy Zoom. And you can give Billy his Gretsch Silverjet or the Strat. Now, I would say both of these guitar players, I'm sure at some point in time played Strats, and both of them are capable of making a Strat sound pretty good.
They could make a shovel sound good.
However, you're talking about changing
courses.
stylistically.
Yeah.
And the styles. I mean, when you think about how, can you play rockabilly on a Strat? Yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah, you can.
Can you play
Punkabilly.
hardcore rocka psychobilly?
Punkabilly.
Yeah.
Punkabilly. You can do it on a Strat, but will it be the same? So, these are your 2 would you rathers. You can go and give Brian Setzer his 6120, or you can give Billy his Silverjet.
Okay.
And the loser in this case gets the Strat.
Well, naturally.
Well, and the thing too is that you just went on a time machine, so you already know what these 2 players have done with their instruments.
Right.
But see, when you mess with the time-space continuum, different things
Yeah.
happen.
But I already know how they sound with their stuff, so I wouldn't have the heart to give them a Strat.
Yeah.
Well, you have to choose.
So I have
you
to
have
choose.
to choose.
Okay.
Okay, I will
wait,
actually-
hold on. You go first,
I go first.
Tanya.
I am going now. I was unaware that the Setzer actually played one.
Yeah.
Now, were they doing rockabilly in that band?
Yes.
Too? Okay. So there you go. So I think, and as I said earlier, either one of these guys can make
Sure.
a Strat sound good.
Yeah.
I love Billy Zoom and his persona with the silver spray painted biker jacket and silver jet. I mean, I've got to give Billy the silver jet. And
move.
sorry, Brian, I'm giving you the Strat, but who knows? Maybe you can play back with your brother again.
Yeah. All right.
Hex.
I'm actually gonna go with giving Setzer his Gretsch.
What?
It's just I just showed you a picture where he looked like playing with a Strat. He
Yeah.
looks funny, even though that's what he actually he started. But it just that's his sound.
Yeah.
Just Gretsch and a bass man. Can't beat that.
All right. Well, I mean, this is no contest.
I'll take the Strat because I can just resell it out here and
Yeah,
get like 30 grand.
yeah, now
no,
that-
not for a 70s Strat though.
Yeah, but I remember when you
Yeah.
couldn't give 70s Fenders away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't even a contest, Tony.
Yes.
I'm giving Billy his Gretsch, of course,
Okay.
for sure.
The Silver Jet.
Yeah.
You're not going to give him the 6120.
Why would I give him that?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
No, they're like, you can keep that one.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that
was a fun one.
It
Yeah.
was kind of fun. It's
Yeah.
and you can alter the course of history.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love the time machine.
I know.
Actually, now that you said that, I remember when I saw Back to the Future and Marty was actually playing that Gibson.
Yeah.
And then somebody's just like, that Gibson wasn't around in '53.
Yeah, it was actually the wrong
Whoops.
thing.
And I'm like, never thought about that. Mm-hmm. Neither did the prop guy.
No. All right. Well, we need to thank a few people, Tony.
Well, Todd, we do as soon as I can find it on my phone. Where the hell is it? There it is.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, I was talking with one of our favorite people, Mark Paget.
Paget,
Yes, who has been a great supporter of the show. And he said it would be really cool to hear what the people think. What is the answer that our listeners would say to that?
Oh, yeah.
And we've mentioned that before, but maybe it just needs to be a little bit more official. So officially, please tell us what you would do.
Yeah.
You can DM me or you can email me. Either way, it's going to work great.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what you think.
Even comments on Instagram.
And why?
Because you guys always advertise the show.
Yeah.
So.
Put it in the comments section for the episode. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please do that.
Well, thank you, Todd. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah.
And I hope, and don't forget to throw in some Would You Rathers, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
and
the
by the
good
way,
stuff.
if you do that, if you comment, we'll bring it up again. This was Mark's suggestion. I'm like, yeah, man, you know that sounds like a great idea. We'll pick one or two and share those before we do the Would You Rather next time. All right.
I love it.
Fair play.
All righty.
Go ahead.
Well, at this point of the show, there's a special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers now. Executive producer makes this show possible. How do you become one?
Well,
Todd?
you got to go to Patreon/The Guitar Knobs.
Patreon.com
Yeah,
/The Guitar Knobs.
that's right.
And you can check out a couple different levels in which you can participate, become a sponsor, a hero of the podcast.
I'm sending out a whole bunch of new packages this weekend.
Nicely done.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're good packages too. It's not like you're gonna get like a sticker and that's it. No,
Yeah.
it's like,
This
yeah,
is
it's-
serious stuff.
Yeah, it is serious stuff.
Yeah.
I was
We got
very,
some
I was
great
very
giveaways
impressed.
coming up. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
So each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts, as we alluded to. But as an executive producer, there's one thing more. Jared, what is that?
Get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers. Moon Guitars, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Mike D., Richard Kendall, Mark Garton, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Gemolero, Bill Gola guitars, John Esterly, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, Tom Brazen, Rusty Sneeden, Ralph Gottschalk, Don Kloss, Gregory Randall, Brett Hogarth. Yeah, it is, bro. I said it right.
All right, good for you.
I get gold star for me. Put it on the calendar. Eric Hemmer, Stuart George, Michael Furman, James Bell, James Romer, Cameron Pampas, David Tyndall, Trevor Ellenberg, and Christopher Logan.
Heck yes. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you. But, you know, Todd, there's another special group.
I do.
We call them our Grand Poohbahs.
Indeed.
And these fine
We're sitting in front of one.
Yes. Yeah. And we are in presence. Now, we did give him a pass. He's not wearing his fez, as by law he's required to do.
I sent him a
Conflicts with the
picture of mine.
headphones.
Yeah.
But when he listens to this one, if he wears it, we'll wipe the slate clean.
Oh, I'll wear it.
So special thanks to these Grand Poohbahs: Tommy Manasco, Ricardo Igareda, David Kaminga, Brandon Wound Pickups, Michio Murakishi, it's Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, James Pennington, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Zant, Tim Nowak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. David Poe, Billy Spitfire, Congregation Gear Demos, Paul Van Eppinger, Scott Sullivan, Great Lakes Guitar Pickups, Matt Hart, and who could forget the one, the only, Hex Mattos.
Thank you very much for having me here, guys.
You better believe it, man.
This was fun. A good little stroll through memory lane.
That's
Awesome.
nice.
Especially stuff I thought I forgot. I actually remember.
So there you go.
Well, speaking of that, where can people find the things that you are doing in the world?
You can actually find me on social media.
Here, hold the paper up in front of that so you get
there
the
we
microphone
go.
in front of you.
I am old. I actually have to write stuff so I don't forget. So Instagram and Twitter at Rockin' Hex, and I guess I have a Thread account which I forgot about, which is the same thing. I don't post anything on it.
Nobody does. That's
I
fine.
know. It's just there for decoration. And you can actually find my bands like Whiskey Daredevils. You can go to www.whiskeydaredevils.com. You can find us on iTunes and Spotify and Pandora, and you can actually listen to our latest release, which is called Good Times.
Right
Nice.
And my other band, 45 Spider, you can actually find them on Facebook, facebook.com 45 Spider, also the 45spider.bandcamp.com page. And you can also find us on iTunes and Spotify also as 45 Spider.
All right.
Nice.
I like it. Tony.
Head over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the things that I do. Then I've got some things available you can actually order online. But by and large, what I do is custom work. So shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do, what you need, and I'll make it for you.
Indeed, you will. You can email me at Todd at theguitarknobs.com or DM me on Instagram at guitarknobs. Would love to hear from you. You can also check out my band, The Valentinos, our new release, which is called Hands Tied. Check that out.
I thought it was Hans Tide.
I thought it was Hogtied.
Okay, you mugs. And we're going to be
I thought he
releasing
said
3
Hogtied.
more this as the summer rolls along into the fall. And also, if you have an HX Stomp, or you got a Eventide H90, or a couple other things,
Or all three.
or all three, a whole bunch of stuff, go get yourself a stomper and protect your knobs.
Protect your
go
knobs.
to flintfx.com and get yourself a stomper. I promise it will make your feet feel better when you're pressing those buttons.
Nice.
Make your life easier, too. You don't have to resettle your stuff every
There you
time.
go.
It's the cheapest insurance you'll find.
Yeah, indeed.
Cheaper than the General?
The General!
We want to say wish you were here to Jared and Rob and Billy, but we will carry on, shall we? Yes, we shall.
My wayward sons.
All right. Hey, everybody, have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe!
That was good. Well, I thought it was. It was actually fun. Just talking about
Actually,
my
what
dad
do you mean
made-
actually fun?
Huh?
I'd stay like about that far away. You're
There we
good.
go.
Yeah. Billy likes to do this.
I know.
Hey,
He
Billy.
sounds like that too.
I say get.
See, a lot of the stuff that comes out of my mouth is R-rated, so I know this is a PG show.
Yes.
So,
Oh, I actually know a bunch of Foghat songs.
Yeah, you
Look at
do.
me. Just giving us a audio.
now you need
Visual.
to. Yeah, you need to get one of those.
I need
like-
one of those things. Then I'd have to reach for it and it'd be too
Yeah.
late. We tried a couple of different things, but
I
that
think
seems
the
to work.
clap works.
Yeah.
I remember the last time. It was actually funnier listening to it on the.
Tony's
at
got a lot of
home.
experience with the clap.
Like-
Yes.
Yeah. Beep beep.
It's like he likes that Stephen Wright kind of freaking tone. Just like
I have to get some new glasses because prescription right now. Yeah.
it was just I was looking at something, but it was the old freaking Microsoft Vista background with that little hill, and a door opens, and it's Beyonce in a dress, and she comes out and starts frolicking, and then falls face flat on her face, and that's when I woke up,
Wow.
and I just had the weirdest dream ever.
And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.